Hello, our truth warriors, and welcome back to the Atlantic Underground podcast. Today's guest needs no introduction. He is the king of the financial world when it comes to the best advice out there. Now, we could have Greg talk about how bad things are in the world and how disastrous things are in the financial world. But today, I want to discuss the more positive things in life that can bring about the change and the impact to the lives of many people around the world for good. Now, Greg, you have a philosophy of paying it forward. So, can you tell us how you do this and why this is so important?
It's the most important thing because I do believe that we are all responsible for each other. I've been telling people this for it seems like 1,000 years. The more you give of yourself, the more you get. We all get. We all benefit from this. We're not each other's enemies, man. That's what they want us to think we are. We all have to pay it forward. We really should be taking care of each other. We're one family. We come from the same father. It's an incredible situation to see. Just real quick, let me just say this, man. With regard to what's happening here in the financial system, and we all know it. Everyone knows what's coming down the pike here. It's about keeping ourselves in the right spots, mentally, physically, spiritually, of course, and looking this as not as look at doom and gloom. It's about taking action, and that's really what I'm all about. I don't want people to sit back and do nothing, sit back in the corner somewhere and suck their thumb off.
Yeah.
As I've been explaining for a while now, we may live in Babylon, but we don't have to be of it. So with that case, we got to, in that situation, we have to make the proper alliances, pay it forward. Uh, you know, and it doesn't have to be cash or monetary, man. Just be nice to people, respect them for who they are. Realize that the kingdom of God is within all of us here, and we should understand that when you're addressing a person like you and I and I, this is about you. You're also addressing the Almighty, that the kingdom is within us. This is what the book tells us. So, and I believe that the book is correct. So that's really what this all comes down to, man. Taking care of each other. That is just the key to this entire thing. And it is pleasing to God. I don't know another way to say it.
Yeah, that's it. What we put out, we receive back. Now, one thing you do put out is you give it your advices to people completely free and on traderschoice.net. You've got a pretty good track record of giving people stock buying and trading advices, and that does make a lot of money for a lot of people out there. How would you suggest they pay that forward rather than just try and reinvest that? Where should that small amount from the profit that they made go towards? We're not saying the whole amount of money, but at the end of the day, they can pay that forward themselves. How would
Mhm.
you suggest that people do that?
I've suggested that people take, I don't know, 5, 10% of whatever they get and donate that to something, a charity that they believe in.
Yeah.
And then they'll get it back tenfold. And there's no doubt about it. You hoard this stuff, you're greedy, you're going to lose. All right. You have to pay it forward. This is how the system works. People would pay for the information that we put out, you, me, all this. It's just that's astronomical. I mean, from a financial standpoint, try to go to Morgan Stanley or any of these institutions, find a financial advisor who will put this stuff together as I do, as we do here. You would have to pay exorbitant fees for this, but now you get it for free, and people just need to pay it forward. That's all,
Yeah.
and just take a small percentage of it, and that's all. And I think again, it's if one person could make a positive difference in this entire world and bleed off to another and bleed off to another one. We're an army in a matter of a very short period of time, and that's really what I'm trying to do here is build this army, this team of lions and people who can see through the nonsense, lift the veil of the Babylon system, peer underneath it, just for a second, and say, okay, this is what I need to do to make a positive difference in the world. That's what it's all about. Making a positive difference in people's lives, one person at a time. And if we can do that with today's video, then we've achieved something, my friend.
Absolutely. Now, knowing what you know and having the experience you have, it can be hard on the head at times. What do you do to balance out your life, and how would you advise others to not become hyper focused on the bad in the world?
Man, I wish I knew that my life is definitely weighed heavily. It's not balanced at all.
Yeah.
I have, as of late, especially like quadrupled my effort to try to get information out to people. The only real offset I have to this is my drag car, my race car, and I'm working on that. You know, when I can, I have one day a week where I go and light up that quarter mile in there. For that 8 seconds that it takes me to run that quarter mile, that's kind of like my meditation because I can't focus on anything else except controlling a 1,200 horsepower race car. It's quite a thing to do, and in that 8 seconds, again, it kind of like allows me to clear my head in a way. And unfortunately, on a good day, I maybe make 3 passes. So you're talking about roughly 24 seconds out of a week where I'm able to, you know, not focus on this and this kind of stuff. I mean, I'll just tell you something really interesting. I last week I was running the car and I had over 157 miles an hour. I went to pull the parachute, didn't open. I
No.
snapped the cable, and that was this run here. Actually, this is the run. I don't know if you guys can see that the time on all that. This was this run here, and I was running 157.37. I pulled that lever. The parachute didn't come out. So the Almighty was with me because I was able to slow that car down before I went into the dirt beyond and it wouldn't have been funny. You know, you hit that dirt at that kind of speed, you can roll the car over. So, I was there. I was able to slow the car without the parachute, but it was scary.
Yeah. I can well imagine, but it's all great fun. Now, John Lennon said, "Love is the answer. Love is all you need. I am you as you are me." And his quotes were renowned for saying, "Being an honest man may not get you a lot of friends, but will always get you the right ones. And everything will be okay in the end. If it's not okay, it's not the end." And of course, we have lyrics on songs like Imagine that was so powerful. Greg, do you think that the energy and the understanding that John Lennon tapped into is available to everyone out there if they try?
Absolutely, every freaking second of every freaking day. And that's what they do. They twist your mind into believing that these things are unattainable, and they are so easily attainable once look, the key to this entire thing is realigning ourselves with the source. I'm talking about God himself. Once you have that and you realize that we've all been psyoped into a system that does nothing but suck our will, our hopes, our dreams. And this is accelerating very greatly around the world, especially here in the United States as of late. I see it everywhere. I don't know what it's like by you, but I'm sure it's the same situation. I
Yeah.
mean, we're all in the same boat. And I mean, that's the common denominator. Is it just by chance, really? Accommodative errors, really? That got us you? No, this is 100% deliberate. And if we could just realign ourselves with the source and understanding that we are responsible for each other and we need to take care of each other, and this is pleasing to God. Well, then you know what? They were all going to be okay. If we take the opposite side of that, and these
Yeah.
people are our enemies, and we got to get them out of here, we can't take care of them, whatever it might be. Well, then you know what? We're all going to pay for it one way or the other. People think, well, it's not about monetary gain. This is literally a spiritual war. Honestly, what's happening to us, and we're being sucked dry of it all. Fake artificials and demigods have replaced the Almighty, and this is why we're in the situation that we're in. I mean, people don't need to look very far to understand. But again, they've been so blinded by the Babylon system, especially as of late, as they're being forced to suffer more and more and more and more. They can't focus on anything else. So how am I going to support my family? What am I going to do? We have mass layoffs, small businesses closures here in the United States. We just found out that manufacturing fell deeper into contraction today, as a matter of fact. Debts and deficits ballooning beyond anyone's wildest dreams. Oh, Greg, you're going to be wrong on that one. President Trump's going to fix it all. You got to be kidding me. This was just a psyop on a massive scale. We're going to bring back manufacturing, Greg. Really, how are we going to do that? We don't have the infrastructure, which would take years alone to build. But again, they fell through the trap doors, and I warn them all the time not to do it. But when people fall into this sense of, well, this person is going to look out for me because they've been sent here by the Almighty, with staged fake assassination attempts, which is, I mean, it's so obvious that it was all fake. Just to win the hearts and minds and spirits of people. It's an incredible thing. But that's exactly, it's all staged. Nothing here is what it seems to be. And I think you and I are pretty much on the same page.
Yeah, no, that's it. Would you say one of the purest, most unbiased love that we can receive is from dogs and pets?
I think that's well, I would say the purest form of love is from the Almighty.
Yeah,
And then, of course, here comes our pets. I love our pets, man. I don't eat meat. I'm a vegetarian. I believe that animals are just as divinely created as we are, and they deserve our respect as well. I mean, I could go on and on about this stuff, but yeah, absolutely, man. We got to care for the earth and everything in it here. We're custodians of this thing. What are we doing? We're raping it. We're pillaging it, and then we think it's okay. We don't think about our own actions. I mean, this is what people have devolved into because the Babylon system has twisted their minds. I mean, it's just this stuff is so obvious, and I'm glad we're talking about it right now. But it's incredible. It really is to see what's happening, what's going on here. It goes way beyond the financial markets, way beyond the garbage nonsense that they're fist feeding us, the deceptions, distractions. It's everywhere.
yeah,
And where does that come from? It comes from a dark place. It
yeah,
doesn't come from the light. But again, people are falling through the trapdoors every single day. But I'll tell you something, because of channels like yours, channels like mine, channels like Lava, who's not here with us today, a lot of the people, man, we're making a difference and people are seeing it. They're starting to turn around. I don't know about you as of late, but I've been getting massively attacked on a personal level. And that tells me what? I am over the target. And I'm proud
yeah,
of it. I wear it as a badge of honor. Let them throw their bricks and their stones. I build cathedrals with them. I build fortresses with those stones. And we're not going to stop people like you and me. All it does is fuel our inner fire to keep moving forward.
yeah, absolutely. Do you believe that humanity is on the brink of taking back its power from the dark satanic infiltrators?
No. The vast majority of people, unfortunately, are falling right through the traps that have been set for them. But there are people like you and me and the people that follow our work who are ready across the board, mentally, physically, and maybe most importantly, spiritually, to move forward here. This is a natural selection going on. And there are the chosen few that are going to be the ones here that people are going to look towards for leadership to get them through what's going on. Again, thank God for this show that we're on right now. At least people can listen to this and realize, look, man, there are billions of us and there's very few of them. Okay, we could take back this system, but the control mechanism via the mainstream media, the media outlets as a whole, presidential puppets who do nothing but read from one teleprompter to another teleprompter to, and then they go off script. They don't know what to say. We've
Yeah,
seen this a lot lately with President Trump. People are saying, "What's wrong with him? Is he?" I don't know if you've seen some of his work. All of a sudden, he seems
yeah,
to forget words. He can't put sentences together. It's not because he's losing his marbles. I did a whole video about this. It's because he's going off script for a moment, and he
yeah,
has to realize that he must stick to that script. He flows perfectly when he's reading the teleprompters. When they don't show this on TV, but there's a teleprompter here, and there's one in front, and then he's perfect because this is what I'm being told to say. This is
yeah,
what I'm going to say. They all do this, okay? But when those teleprompters aren't there, for a moment he's like, "Oh, whoa, 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 whoa! I gotta say this." So that's why you're seeing this kind of people are saying, "Oh, it's a mental collapse." It's not a mental collapse. And not that I'm not sitting here defending President Trump because I don't think he's even worth defending. I think he's completely aligned with devilism, along with Elon Musk with his Baphomet suit. It was up to down cross on it. But I'm telling you that I believe sincerely that when he goes off script, then he gets confused with the words, with the sentences. He kind of gets this blank look on his face. It's not dementia because a lot of people believe it is. It's not. He's going off script,
yeah,
and he's got to revert back to it. So you get those little pauses there. You can see it all the time. I mean, this is not new. This has been happening a lot as of late.
yeah.
So that's how I look at it. I don't think he's losing his mind. I think he's having an issue with trying to stay on track with the script.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, if people were more genuine and authentic, it'd probably come over a lot better. Now, would you say friendship and community and sharing without divide or greed is the key to people taking back our world?
100%. 100%. Every Friday, you probably know this. What do I leave people off with? Love each other, care
Yeah,
about each other, be charitable to each other. Imagine, Lennon, right? John Lennon, if we did this, we could change the world overnight. But
yeah,
that's not what we have. We have a divided and conquered people, none more so, and maybe I'm wrong on this, than here in the United States, because I witnessed this. I don't know what it's like anywhere else, but here, people have been put at each other's throats.
yeah,
And if you don't believe their way, that's wrong. That's it. You deserve. Some people even want them executed. That's how distorted it has gotten here. Get rid of these kind of people. But again, it's all about control, and that's really what's going to. We haven't seen anything yet with regard to this, man. The whole digital system that's coming, the
yeah.
tokenized system, maximum control, programmable money, the meltdown of the system as it's melting down right now. People can't see it, even though it's right in their face, even though by their own numbers, even today
Yeah.
with manufacturing falling deeper into contraction here, the economy now a negative GDP, and it's incredible. You and me and Lava, we all knew this was coming. We've been talking about it forever, but people think it's going to turn around. It's going to turn around because Trump has the plan. You can't make this stuff up. Again, it's just another puppet, just like Biden was, just like the one before him, which happened to be Trump, by the way. Just a puppet. And unfortunately, when people put their faith in the wrong place, it invariably, without exception, ends to their own destruction. It's suicide. It literally is suicide.
That's it. I mean, people don't want to see it because it's inconvenient to their illusion that they're living. And until people break out of that illusion, nothing's going to change. Now,
No.
me and you have a great love and passion for music, but which song stirs the most emotion within you and why?
Wow, man, I love music. It touches your soul. I think it's a way to reconnect with something that's just so intangible. Absolutely, this is so. I couldn't even say I have one specific favorite song. I love songs, music that has a positive message behind it, where someone is speaking from within themselves, getting out what is the gift that they've been given from God the Father. This is stuff I connect with here, and I maybe thousands of songs. You got to realize I'm just about 60 years old. I've seen a lot of stuff. I've
Yeah,
listened to a lot of music. And I was a kid. I was a heavy metal maniac. That at that point was what I related to. But now these days, man, it's really hard to say. I can't pick a particular song, but I would say any artist, any song where you can feel not just what they're saying with their mouth, but where you can hear what's coming out of their spirit and their soul and their alignment with God.
yeah,
That's really it. That's how I look at this kind of stuff, and I love stuff like that. I couldn't care less for any of the nonsensical garbage out there, the division, the hatred, music. There's a lot of it out there, unfortunately. But I would say music with a positive message
yeah,
that uplifts us all. We have to adapt that kind of mentality, because the negative stuff is overwhelming, and it can overwhelm people. There's no doubt about it. It doesn't have to be music; it could be anything. Here, people are right now suffering just to make ends meet, and that's very negative, and that's compounding, kind of like compounding interest, right? It
yeah,
pays off for them, those that are looking to control us, by compounding the negativity over and over again. And stuff like you and I that we talk about, it's not about negativity. It's about raising awareness. It's about saying, okay, well, you know what, this is what's going on, take a stand against it. And that's really what I want people to do: unify, come together, speak together as one voice. Because I believe, between all the people that follow my work, your work, and a couple of other YouTubers I've spoken to with tremendous channels, would like to unify our people, speak with one voice, and start punching holes right through the system itself.
yeah,
And I really believe that we're getting through. Honestly, I see it, and I know that the flack that I've been getting as of late, over the past at least week, because I've done a lot of work lately, that's very eye-opening. So you get the flack. You know what I'm talking about.
yeah,
You get hit with it, and then they can't attack the message. So what do? They attack you and I personally on that level. Let them do it. I love
yeah.
it, because it tells me that I am doing the right thing, man. And we're going to keep doing it, like I said.
Absolutely. Now, every great man has to have a great woman behind them. And I know that you try and keep your family life out of your limelight, but do you have the most incredible support from those around you?
My main support is my wife, Lorraine. She's a gift from God Almighty. There's no doubt about it. She's there for me all the time. She's my crew chief with the race car, 100%. If it weren't for her, there is no way I would be able to do what I do. She
Yeah.
by her carrying a lot of the weight, it allows me to get out here and focus on my people, those people that are following my work and depend on you and me. And I was talking to Corey Costas. I did an interview with him just
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
I was talking about the responsibility that we have. It's profound if you think about it. You and me and Corey and Lava and a lot of people, given this platform, this is not an accident why we're here either. We're out here. We were chosen to be here because people can relate to the stuff that we're doing and saying, this is why we're growing, all of us here. My channel as of late is growing very fast. And I think it's because of the message here. But again, it does come down to a foundation. But the foundation here, I mean, look, my foundation has always been pretty much in the same place here, and I've deviated from this path to an extreme degree over the years. It was this refocusing on uh, the source, the source of everything. And that will align your entire being. Once you get that and understand that, and it's not about, particular rituals or saying certain phrases or what it might be, and whatever faith that you might, dogma that they force you to participate in. It's about the inner book. It's about your direct relationship with God the Father, which in my opinion is private. Everyone has a pathway, I guess you could say, that is instilled in them by God the Father, and you listen to that little voice inside you. That's it. You know what I mean? It's not that you need to march in a particular way, and it's only one way. No, it's way bigger than that. There's a huge difference between a religious dogma and, let's say, a spirituality or a faith.
Yeah.
And again, I'm preaching to the choir here, but that's the truth, man. That's the foundation of it all. Once you get that down, everything else will just click right into place so fast, people won't even believe it.
Yeah, no, it is incredible. Well, the synchronicities in life and the coincidences that we need to take stock of and recognize are the very, pathways that we need to follow and recognize. And it is incredible once you tap into that and you're able to get back to source, your higher self, and actually find out what this is all about. Now, does it still feel good every time you work hard and reward yourself with some silver?
I love awarding myself with silver, and my biggest reward comes from my people who write to me and say things like, "Greg, you know what? You've made such a positive difference in my life. It's worth it more than all the silver that's on this planet." If one person, one, comes out and writes to me and say, "Greg, you know what? You've done this for me. You've done that for me, and I really appreciate you." And that I would take that before every ounce of gold and silver that exists on this earth or outside the earth. That's really what my all I'm not looking. I don't want accolades, awards, or wealth or anything from this here. I just want to make a positive difference, as you do too. Everything else will come along with that, if that's the way it's going to be. If not, that's okay too. But that's really what matters to me most.
Yeah, and speaking of that one person that can make a difference when they come and speak to you, I was in the market the other day, and a gentleman approached me and said, "When are you speaking to Greg Mannarino next?" I said, "Well, funnily enough,
What?
funnily enough, it's going to be tomorrow." And he said, "Oh, I keep going on the live chats and trying because he watches you, he follows everything you do." He said, "I keep going on the live chats," he says, "and I keep trying to ask a question." He said, "But it's that fast. There's that many people on there." He said, "It never gets in." I said, "Well, do me a favor." I said, "Give me the question that you want to ask." I said, "I'll ask Greg today." The gentleman's name is Dylan. And he is one of your followers, and he wanted me to ask you what you thought would happen to Mexico if the US had an economic collapse, and also if you thought that gold mining stocks would hold their value in turbulent times, and are they worth investing in? And I did write his question down here to ask you today, so I did promise him I'd ask you this.
All right. Well, we'll take the latter part of that first. I do not own mining stocks. I don't own them because I don't think they're not a good investment. I just don't own them. But let me say this: understanding how this is going to play out, how everything will eventually play out, is the market will throw everything out with the bathwater at one particular time. It always does this here, and then it will rebound. Cash will just move from one place into another
Yeah.
here, in any collapse situation. But right now, there's such an effort to keep the stock markets of the world propped up as central banks are keeping rates artificially suppressed. They're in the market. They can't just wave a magic wand and make it happen here. We're watching the 10-year yield in the United States crater as of late. That's the Fed. They're buying it all. That mechanism keeps that doorway open for cash to make its way into risk assets. It also is massively currency purchasing power negative. The weaker currency obviously boosts the stock market as well. Henceforth, why President Trump is calling for a weaker currency doesn't help people, creates massive amounts of inflation, but he thinks the weaker currency will boost the market, which he's right. And again, during his last tenure, he called the Federal Reserve boneheads for not going negative. Negative rates would have meant you and I would have to pay the banks to keep our cash there, but that's okay. Imagine this kind of stuff. So again, when the market sells off, first of all, we're not seeing a crash in this market right now. We're seeing a corrective phase, and the Fed's in here buying it all. But the real meltdown is going to begin and end in the debt market. Period. The end. We're going to end up seeing a spiking. Well, this is what's going to happen. I mean, eventually the debt market's going to sell off, and it's going to go no bid at one point. But we're going to see a massive spiking in the 10-year yield, more specifically the benchmark here around the world. You'll see that happening. A massive sell-off. Then the debt market will literally go no bid. The currency will become absolutely worthless. It'll go zero. Everything hinges off of what's happening here in the debt market. Okay, that is going to wipe out the stock markets of the world so fast people aren't going to know what hit them. So as that happens, you're going to see everything get thrown out. Even gold and silver will initially suffer as well. I would expect to see cryptos and everything sell off, a pan sell off, a pan widespread, and then you'll see the rebalancing at that time, because everyone runs to the door at the same time. Is fear. It's what drives the markets. Fear and greed drive the markets. Fear is very powerful when it comes to the markets. So that's how this would eventually play out. With mining stocks, again, I don't own any. So I can't really give anyone an example of where they should put their cash to work. If I own them, I would follow them, but I don't. Now, with regard to Mexico, every single economy on this planet will not be able to escape the eventual meltdown in the debt market. Because again, we're talking about the flow of credit through the world economy. That's really, so that mechanism here, just like what's happened in 08, is going to lock up, and a complete loss of confidence. The system is going to stop functioning. In 08, what they did, see, they had an out then. They rushed Bernanke before our loving, caring representatives here in the United States said, I believe this was on a Saturday, and he said, by Monday, if we don't do this, inject billions into the system, we won't have an economy, not a market. The market was already down like 6,000 points. The Dow, it had been cut in half at that point. He said we won't have an economy. Now, that's because he understands that the flow of debt and credit is the backbone of the system. So they're looking now to destroy that, and they're going to break the back of the financial system again and introduce a completely new system. All the framework is already built for it, and it's there. So there will not be a safe place to go. This is why we need to realign ourselves with the source, with each other, people who we can count on in a worst case scenario, because that's exactly where we're being pushed. They will force people on their knees and beg for a new system. It's always the same: problem, reaction, solution. You and I know this. We've been talking about it for as long as I can think that we've been together on your show.
Yeah, definitely. Now, you've written books in the past. I've still got a copy myself of The Politics of Money. Do you think...
I can't believe you still... Dude, I don't even have a copy. I gave them all away. I don't even have a single copy of that. I can't even believe it. Wow.
Well, maybe we'll put it back out into print one day. But do you ever have any ambition to write any more books, considering the knowledge that you have?
No, I don't think... I don't know, unless I'm getting inspired by some other thing. If the Almighty says, Greg, it's time to write something, I will. Well, what's happened to me since I put out... I've written so much stuff and put out a lot of books. None of them right now are even available, I don't think. Maybe some on Amazon, but some people are asking so much money for them. It's ridiculous. I would say don't buy them, because you can get all that same information right from me for free on my blog and on my newsletter, on shows like yours. I don't know if I'm going to write anything else anymore. It's just, it takes so much. And then, it's just, I don't know. I doubt it. I'll be honest with you, but we'll see. You never know.
Yeah. Now, I know you have a YouTube channel there. Most people follow you on there, as well as the information that comes out of the mails. And I do recommend people do subscribe to them because the information's incredible, and you do give back a lot. We're currently building a natural healing and wellness community here on the biggest lake in Mexico, and obviously it's a place where it's the best weather oasis in the world. And we hope to build this for all the world to come and utilize. Do you have any future plans to make preparations for others as we move forward? Have you got any projects in your head that you're thinking of doing that can really bring things for the community, or to build something financially for people within the area where you are?
Well, what I am doing now is I have at least doubled, maybe even tripled my efforts so far to get more information out there. And it's burning me out. I'm not going to lie about it, but I'm willing to do it. I'm going to push myself until I break or until I crack. Honestly, I'm not going to stop. I feel compelled to such a degree to keep putting material out. As a matter of fact, I'm going to work on them. I'm almost done with a piece talking about stable coins, which I think you're going to find very, very interesting. I'm actually going to call it the Trojan horse. It is a Trojan horse in some ways here, and I've been working on this for a while. So that's going to come out hopefully in an hour or two after I finish with this here. I got to work on that, and I want to get it out for people to understand what's going on here. The issue of programmable money, the hidden truths of what's being set up underneath it all is just hideous. I am going to be doing a lot of other things like that. What I'm doing now is I'm not just trying to sketch out the broader strokes. I'm actually going to start digging in deeper into the specifics of what's happening, because right now it's so obvious what is being set up, at least to me, and I'm sure it is to you and the people
Yeah.
that follow our work. They know it. This is what I'm saying is people that follow our work, we're literally preaching to the choir. This is why I am hoping that people that are listening to this right now are going to say, you know what, there's some really good information here. I need to share this. I'm going to give this a thumbs up. I want people to, and then discuss these things. Arm yourself, people, with knowledge and wisdom. And what you're hearing here is exactly that. So arm yourself with it. Study these things. Maybe watch this video 2-3 times. You're going to get something out. All this stuff, it's free, right? People just access it. So utilize this as a resource to arm yourself with a weapon. Because there are those that are coming after you, and you need a weapon. And this is the weapon, what you're hearing
Yeah.
here. So that's kind of what I'm working on right now.
Is laughter the best remedy for the soul?
Laughter. You know, I I wish I could say what yeah, you got to stay happy, man. There's no doubt
Yeah.
about it. Yeah, yeah, I suppose I could say this. My oldest, Ed Hall, the gentleman I took care of, the Pearl Harbor survivor. This guy, he lived to 99 years old, and his secret was very, very simple. He never let things really get to him, but he wasn't as like a passionate guy as I think that I am. I do let things get to me
Yeah.
deeply. When I see I don't care about people attacking me. That don't get to me at all. I laugh it off. What gets to me, what bothers me at the core of my being, my soul burns when I see people suffering in mass. Um, and I hear from these people, Greg, I can't find a job. Greg, what am I going to do? And you probably get the same thing. They write to me and they're like, Greg, I don't know, you've been talking about this stuff here, but now I've been hit by this here. All the layoffs here at the federal level. People thought they were going to come out unscathed. I've heard from so many people. I voted for President Trump thinking that I would still be safe, but no, they've gotten eliminated. Now they can't make ends meet. They can't survive. They're going, not that it would have mattered. I mean, our votes don't count here. The system, nothing is left to chance anymore. And people are suffering. It's not just about people. It's not a partisan issue. People are being destroyed from the inside. They finally wake up when it hits them personally. And I hate to see that.
Yeah.
So I say, look, man, what can you do? Pray. Some people have resorted to, and I think that's the foundation again is look towards the source. When things become so overwhelming for you, that's what you got to do. You got to embrace that. But people need to look, man, pay more attention to the show, what we talk about here, maintain that positive attitude. Light attracts light. Light pushes the darkness away. So understanding that, don't let the demons in. Okay, don't let the demons in by filling yourself with light, and laughter is part of that light. Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. Now we're going to do it's going to be a short one today. I know you have to head off and you've got other appointments to deal
Yeah.
with today. But you always call us in at the end of your videos and tell everyone the same thing. I think it would be a great way to end this interview today with those immortal words. So let's do it.
Yeah. Let's do it, man. Love each other, care about each other, and be charitable, people. I mean, this is it. This is the foundation of it all. If one person today, just one, would adopt that kind of an attitude after watching this, then dude, we've done our job. We've done our
Yeah,
job. And hopefully they'll pay it forward and they'll find another way to, look, this is what I'm talking about. When I say paid forward again, not talking about the financial thing here. I'll tell you just something silly that people could do. Maybe, I don't know. Last night, I was walking outside my house and I look at my neighbor and I see she has this beautiful plant outside and it's been very dry here. And I see this poor thing kind of wilting over. And I said, you know what? I'm going to go water her plant. So I watered that plant. That's what I'm talking about. I didn't tell her I was going to do it. I just did it. Just do things. You see something like that. Well, then you know what? Take action. It's a plant here that's calling out to you. A plant, a living thing. Hey, you know what? I'm going to die unless someone brings me some water. So I did it. Just do these imagine if we all did stuff, little silly things like that for each other. We could change the whole freaking world.
that's it. I mean, the greatest currency in the world, the greatest investment anybody can make is in each other and supporting each other and loving each other and being there for each other. And believe me, if you put this out there, you receive it back, as you said earlier, tenfold. And if people want to make their lives better, if people are suffering, having a hard time, start putting it out there, giving back to people. If you've got time on your hands and you're not working, go and help a neighbor, go and help somebody who's in need. And believe me, the universe will recognize that and it will come back to you in the correct way. And turns of events in a positive way will start coming back in your life. And if everyone starts doing this, what a beautiful world we'll end up living in. And I think that's a great way to end this, Greg. Thank you again.
Let me just say one more thing after what you said. My friend Edward, going back to him, Pearl Harbor survivor, World War II hero. Again, during the attack of December 7th, 1941, he ran towards the danger, not away from it at the age of 18 years old, helping to bring the wounded to the hospital, the field hospital that are under attack by Imperial Japanese forces. What this guy used to do is he used to, on his own time, he had a lot of time, he was retired again, but in his 90s would go to the veterans hospitals and just walk in and just present himself with a handshake to a veteran, then in the hospital or their family, and introduce himself and put himself out there, wanting nothing in return other than to shake these people's hands and say, you know what, I'm looking out for you and I love you and I love your sacrifice. And I mean, this is it, man. This is why the guy was given the gift of a 99-year life,
Yeah,
where I mean, the guy is immortalized. I mean, you could look up Edward Hall, all the stuff that this guy's done is incredible, and that's why God gave him that gift.
fantastic, Greg. What a great way to end. Thank you very much. I'll see you before you see me again, like every day, twice.
Yeah.
And yeah, I hope to catch up with you soon. I'll probably be talking to you next month. Hopefully, Lava can join us then. And as we say here on the Atlantic Underground podcast, question everything, believe nothing. And thanks very much, Greg. It's always been great to talk to you. Take care.
You too. Thank you.
Cheers, mate.